Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So, today we're digging into some source material that is, well, it's truly wild.
It really is.
We've got the full transcript of a job interview.
Yeah.
And this thing went sideways, like aggressively sideways. It's almost a masterclass in professional self-destruction.
Right. It's not just about making a few mistakes. It's an anatomy of misalignment,
Yeah.
between how this candidate sees himself and, well, professional reality.
Exactly. And that's our mission today, isn't it?
That's it. We want to unpack the dynamics here, the conversational sort of missteps, the huge red flags that this candidate throws up.
And for you listening, this is gold in terms of insights. Insights into risk assessment, professional integrity.
And honestly, just understanding where communication boundaries have to be drawn, like hard lines.
Yeah, hard lines. And you don't even wait long for the first wobble. The interview barely starts and we hit blunder number 1. It's about his clothes.
Of the entire thing, yeah.
Yeah. He proudly says he wore blue because he saw the company logo was blue. Simple mistake, maybe. But the interviewer corrects him.
Instantly. Actually, our logo is red.
And does he just say, oh, my bad?
Nope. No, that would be too easy. It immediately sets this pattern, doesn't it? Zero preparation and then immediate deflection.
Totally. He blames it on confusing them with another company he's interviewing with.
Which, okay, may be plausible but still sloppy. But then the overcorrection.
Right. Wait, hang on. I actually have a red sweater. Should I go change? Right now.
I mean, what does that tell the interviewer right there? First, I can't handle even basic correction gracefully.
Right.
And second, I'm going to try and sort of aggressively control the situation to save face, even if it's weird.
It's such a bizarre start. And honestly, it's the perfect setup for what comes next. Because if you thought the logo color was awkward,
Oh boy. Buckle up.
just wait until we get to the first real sticking points. Money and location.
Yep. The interviewer lays it out pretty clearly. Pay is $60,000 a year plus a 10% bonus. And they note, this is industry standard for the role.
Seems straightforward enough, right? A starting point for discussion?
You'd think, but the candidate's response, it's fascinating. He doesn't negotiate based on his skills or market value. Not at all.
What does he do?
He just dismisses the $60K flat out, says it's not even enough, and then he starts listing his personal bills.
Wait, personal bills? Like what?
Like rent, and then, get this, he specifically mentions child support.
Wow. Child support in the initial salary discussion.
Yep, before benefits are discussed, before any talk of pay reviews, he just jumps straight into his personal budget problems.
Did the interviewer even ask about that stuff, or did he just volunteer his entire financial situation?
Oh, he just launched right into it. Total overshare. It's a massive red flag for any hiring manager,
Why specifically? I mean, people have bills.
Well, sure, but negotiating salary is one thing. Injecting very specific non-work-related financial burdens like child support right at the start, it signals potential financial instability.
Okay, I see that.
But maybe more strategically, it tells the employer that this candidate sees the company less as a professional partner and more like an ATM.
An ATM responsible for solving his personal life problems.
Exactly. And you have to assume they'll expect future accommodations for those personal issues, too. It sets a really difficult precedent.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the boundary pushing, it just picks up speed from there, right? When they talk about the office mandate.
Oh, yeah. The company needs people in the office 5 days a week. Pretty standard for many places, especially then.
And the candidate's reaction? Refusal. But not just refusal.
No, it's like a full-on tirade. He acts like being asked to come into the office 5 days a week is some kind of insult or like a punishment for low-status workers.
What does he actually say?
His first line is basically, if he wanted to work 5 days in an office, he would have gone to work at Amazon or something.
Implying this job is somehow above that kind of commitment.
Precisely. Like, his role, whatever it is too important for standard office attendance. But then he pivots back to his personal finances again.
The money argument returns.
Right. He argues rent is too high, so he has to use his home as both his office and his residence to make ends meet on that $60.
Okay.
And then he starts itemizing all the commuting costs that the salary apparently doesn't cover.
Let me guess. Gas.
Gas, wear and tear on the car, insurance, mileage. It's a whole list. And then the kicker.
There's a kicker.
Oh, yeah. He adds danger, too. There are a lot of criminals on the road.
Seriously. Commuting danger as a negotiation point.
Seriously. It's this pattern of escalating anxiety, framing every standard workplace thing as this huge personal burden that needs exceptional compensation.
So what does the interviewer say to that?
Well, the interviewer tries to be helpful, actually. Suggests that if the commute is genuinely over an hour, maybe, consider moving closer to Midtown where the office is.
Seems like a reasonable suggestion, if the commute is the real issue.
You'd think. But this is where the candidate's professionalism it completely evaporates.
He snapped.
Totally snaps. He fires back, "You people are in Midtown. Move close to Midtown on with 60,000. How will I do that? Do I do magic?"
Yikes. You people. And the tone.
Super accusatory. He's basically telling the interviewer their company's location and their industry standard pay are stupid and unreasonable.
And putting all the responsibility for his own life choices onto them.
100%. The entitlement level is just staggering. And remember, he doesn't even have an offer yet.
Incredible. Okay, let's shift gears. Because after bombing the money and location discussion, the candidate tries to claw back some credibility, right? By talking credentials.
Yeah, a classic tactic. When reality bites back, inflate your credentials to try and regain control. And he brings up the big one, Stanford University.
But he says it wasn't on his resume.
Right. He claims he left it off because he's, and I quote, "a humble person."
Oh, humble. Okay.
So the interviewer naturally perks up. A Stanford degree is a big deal. So they encourage him, "Okay, tell me more about your experience at Stanford."
And this is where it gets really good, isn't it? The definition of attended.
Oh, it's critical. The interviewer asks for details, and the candidate explains, well, his cousin had just started medical school there.
Okay, so he knows someone there.
Yeah, and he went to visit the cousin, dropped off some food, was on campus for a couple of hours, admired the architecture.
Wait, a couple of hours. Visiting.
Couple of hours.
Visiting. Dropping off food.
That's his Stanford experience.
That's it. And this is where professional integrity comes crashing down. The interviewer does exactly the right thing, asks for clarification. So you attended school for 4 years at the University of Stanford.
And the answer, the fatal admission. I was there for a couple of hours.
Oh my God, that's not attending. That's like saying you attended a restaurant because you used their restroom once.
Exactly. It's the difference between visiting the gift shop and owning the franchise, like you said. The interviewer, quite rightly, tells him point blank, you cannot list this as attended on your resume. That is misrepresentation.
And does he accept that?
Of course not. He doubles down. He actually argues it's the same thing as saying you went to a football game.
He's comparing a brief social visit to a campus with formal academic enrollment.
That's the argument. It shows either a profound misunderstanding of basic professional language or, more worryingly, a willingness to just straight up lie on his resume.
Which is resume fraud.
Absolutely. And for an employer, that's a giant red flag about integrity. If he'll inflate or lie about this, what else will he fudge? It's a huge risk.
Okay, so the money talk was aggressive. The Stanford reveal was just unbelievable. But then we get to what might be the peak of this entire interview.
Ah, yes. The classic question.
What is your greatest weakness? The interviewer even encourages honesty, self-awareness.
And the answer comes back immediate, no hesitation, and it just lands like a lead balloon.
What does he say?
He says, women are my weakness.
He actually said that in a job interview.
Word for word, women are my weakness. Just silence probably followed that one for a second.
I don't even know where to start with that. And does he leave it there or does he elaborate?
Oh, he elaborates. It gets so much worse. He clarifies that it's not just that they are his weakness. He says he is their weakness too. It's a mutual weak problem, apparently.
A mutual weak problem. Okay.
And then he connects this directly back to his demand for remote work.
Ow.
He explicitly says he needs to work from home for crowd control.
Crowd control, because of the mutual weakness with women.
Exactly. Because if he comes into the office, the implication is that the women there won't be able to handle themselves, and neither will he, apparently.
This sounds completely delusional.
It's reached peak self-aggrandizement now. It gets better or worse, depending on your view. He compares the potential chaos of his presence in the office
To what?
to a Taylor Swift concert.
Stop. He did not. A Taylor Swift concert.
He did. And he suggested the company would need to double your staff of security if he worked on site just to manage the situation.
I'm speechless. Did the interviewer ask if they needed more friendship bracelets for the security team?
Huh. I suspect the HR department was probably hitting the panic button somewhere in the background right about then. This is way beyond just interview gaffes now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is something else.
It's like a professional weakness should be something manageable, right?
Yeah.
I sometimes overfocus on details or I'm working on my delegation skills.
Yeah.
Something real.
Right. Something work-related you can improve.
This is just pure, unfiltered delusion, presented almost like an asset he possesses that they need to manage.
And he's basically preemptively blaming any future interpersonal issues on his irresistible effect on coworkers.
That's exactly it. He's shifting all potential blame onto the company for hiring him and then not adequately controlling everyone else's reaction to him.
That's not just delusional. That sounds like a massive HR nightmare waiting to happen. Huge liability.
Colossal. The interviewer, somehow maintaining composure, tries to verify this, asks if this weakness caused problems at his previous jobs.
And what's the story there?
He implies his former employers just kind of managed it by giving him a computer and telling him to work from home to avoid, the crowd control issues.
So they enabled the delusion, according to
him, which who knows if that's true, but it raises this really important point about personal disclosure limits. And for hiring managers listening, this is what you call a high-maintenance hire profile.
a high-maintenance hire. Explain that.
It's a candidate who signals they're going to require maximum organizational effort, resources, and accommodation.
For minimum proven value.
Or at least value based entirely on their own inflated self-assessment, not on evidence. They demand huge concessions right out of the gate: remote work, special pay considerations based on personal need, even extra security.
All because they believe standard rules don't apply to them.
Exactly. Because their personality, in their view, is this unique force, maybe even a liability, that the company must actively mitigate. It's a massive failure point in risk assessment if you miss these signs.
Incredible. Just incredible. And the interview doesn't just fizzle out after that bombshell, does it? It ends with, well, more aggression.
Oh, yeah. The closing is just as revealing. He tries to completely hijack the standard hiring process.
How so? He asks for the job on the spot.
Immediately. So am I hired? Like right now.
Wow. No patience for process.
Zero respect for it. The interviewer explains, we have other candidates to interview. There's a required second interview with management. The normal stuff.
Then he accepts that.
Nope.
Yeah.
He calls the system convoluted, says he can streamline the process for them if they just hire him right now.
He's trying to manage the hiring process before he's even hired.
He's inserting himself into a management role, basically dismissing their procedures and their time. It shows he respects neither.
And then comes the pushiness about contact, right?
Relentless. First, he offers to start immediately. I can start now, even. Like right after the interview ends.
Okay. Eager, maybe?
Maybe, but then the interviewer says, okay, we will email you with the next steps. Standard practice.
And he insists on emailing them instead.
Yes. He argues he needs to be proactive, tries to take control of the communication flow.
And it doesn't stop there.
No way. He suggests texting is better than email, asks for the interviewer's personal phone number.
Personal number, why?
Because, he claims, emails won't read it till like a couple of days. Which is just nonsense, but it's his excuse to cross that boundary.
And when the interviewer hopefully refuses the personal number.
They do refuse, but then he immediately demands the office extension. The interviewer gives it 2231.
And does he say, okay, thanks, I'll wait for your email?
No. He instantly asks, can I call you tomorrow? Which, by the way, would have been the weekend.
Persistent doesn't even cover it.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't there one last thing about the other candidates?
Oh, yeah. The final cherry on top. He actually asks who the next person interviewing is, tries to get confidential competitor information.
Which the interviewer, thankfully, shut down.
Correctly refused to divulge. Yeah. The whole closing sequence just confirms everything we saw earlier.
So overwhelming eagerness.
Totally. But it's completely poisoned by absolutely zero respect for professional processes, personal boundaries, or even basic corporate confidentiality.
He really thinks his supposed unique value gives him a pass on all normal rules.
That's the operating assumption, clear as day.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Looking back at this train wreck, what are the big takeaways for you, the listener?
I think there are a few key things.
Go ahead.
First, preparation. It sounds basic. Seriously. Know the company logo color, know the role expectations, do your homework.
Absolutely. Second.
Truthfulness. This seems obvious, but clearly isn't always. Visiting a campus for 2 hours is not attending. Don't misrepresent, don't inflate, don't lie. It signals fraud.
Huge. And the third big one.
Respecting professional channels and boundaries. This is critical. Self-advocacy is fine, even necessary sometimes. but it absolutely cannot cross into aggressive entitlement.
Yeah, the moment you start demanding the company changes security posture for you.
Or completely overhaul its hiring process on the spot.
Yeah.
You've crossed the line. You're signaling you're a liability, not an asset. Professionalism really is about that balance, isn't it?
Balance between what?
Between confidence in your abilities and humility.
Hmm.
And realism. Realism about what a company owes you versus what you actually need to demonstrate and earn.
Well said. Okay, so we'll leave you with a final thought to chew on, something provocative maybe?
Let's hear it.
If a candidate shows this level of insistence on controlling everything, the hiring process, the internal security setup, their specific work conditions, even before they have the job, what does that really tell you about their ability to manage actual responsibilities, follow direction, and adhere to expectations once they are hired?
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Where does genuine self-advocacy stop? And where does that clear signal of a high-maintenance hire, the kind that leads to professional sabotage, actually begin?
Definitely something worth thinking about before your next big meeting or maybe your next interview.
Indeed. Until next time on Deep Dive.